If you watched Four Corners earlier this week, you would have seen the story about mining exploration company Greywolf Resources. Now, a lot of people put their life savings into it and say that they've been stung. One of them was Lorraine Fitzjohn, who joins me now from Gallagher on the New South Wales Central Coast. Thanks for joining us, Lorraine.
Thank you.
Just take us through briefly what your experience here was with Greywolf.
Okay, so the story is that I was at work and I had the opportunity by some clients to be introduced to some shares to buy. It's the first time that we've actually bought shares before, and we looked into it, my husband and I. We actually even organised our own superannuation fund so that we could purchase these shares. We had our accountant look at them. We thought we'd done all the research, and so we bought them, and I wanted to share this opportunity with my family, and I shared it with everyone, and they also did their research, and we all put our money in, thinking it was a sure thing, and that they were going to be listed in 6 weeks or 12 weeks, and it kept on getting extended out by Edward to longer and longer.
Lorraine, I'm sorry, can I ask you how much if you invested and what happened to that investment?
We personally put in all our superannuation that we had saved, and then added more into it, so around 100,000 personally, and but between myself and my family, about 180.
And you have a question for us as well.
I do have a question. I have a question for Stuart in regards to him having shares, and he was able to get the refund of his money. So, Stuart, I know at some point you bought shares and that you changed your mind and wanted a refund. How did that happen for you when we, as a family unit, all asked for our money back as well, and we didn't have that same opportunity as you? And the other thing is possibly maybe, as you know, ASIC, or we've all been to ASIC, we've all complained nothing's ever been done, and from the story the other night we can see it's still happening. Is there anything that you could suggest that we could do to help us?
Let's go to the first part of the question. You'd bought shares, Stuart?
Yeah, I did. Look, thanks, Lorraine. And it's terrible what happened to you. I did buy shares. And when I became Assistant Treasurer in 2018, I was instructed to sell them. I had 5 days, so I wrote them off for zero gain. So I lost everything, the same as you, by the way.
So you purchased those 5 million shares, I understand. Is that the number?
No.
That's not the number?
Not at all. So I purchased shares. I wrote them off before coming into the ministry because I was instructed by the Prime Minister. And just out of interest, I informed ABC Four Corners of that before the show went to air. I note that part didn't go to air, and I'll just put that out there, Stan.
Well, Four Corners did include some statements from you.
It did,
and
but
one
it
of them
didn't
was
include that statement that the inference is...
you got your money back.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
You lost money?
It all. Yes,
you
I
lost
did.
money, did you?
Yes, all of it. Exactly the same circumstance as Lorraine has got. It's why I have great sympathy for what Lorraine's been through. They were written off completely.
So when you say written off, so in 2018...
Yes.
You divested those shares?
Yes.
And you received nothing?
Correct. I wrote them off and informed the company that had been written off.
And so you had purchased those shares, first of all, for how much?
I'm not going to disclose how much I buy my things for. I'm required to declare on the parliamentary register, which I have. In relation to Lorraine's question regarding ASIC, looking at it, I think they should. Because if Lorraine doesn't strike me as a professional investor under Section 708 of the Corporations Act, which meant that the company would have had to have an Australian Financial Services licence for dealing in securities for retail investors, if they didn't have that, well, that is a breach of the Corporations Act.
A couple of the questions that were raised is how close you were to the company and whether you provided any services
Not close
to the company
at all.
as well.
At all. Not close at all. Didn't do anything for them. Didn't visit their offices.
Were you aware that people like Lorraine and others were being caught up in this?
No, not at all.
As they say?
Not at all. Was not aware of any of the company's operations. I'm simply like Lorraine. Purchased shares and lost them all. It's that simple.
Lorraine?
Okay, I just thought it was something a little bit different to that. I understood you got a refund, but I am very interested to know how you might be able to help us move forward and maybe make this complaint, because, you know, we have lost a lot of money. There has been $7 million apparently in these businesses gone.
Lorraine, I think ASIC should investigate, because prima facie, you cannot deal in a security to a retail investor without having an Australian financial services licence that has retail investors, has generic product advice and has dealing in a security.
Would you be happy in the event of that investigation to have your involvement or your investment investigated, and also the allegations or the concerns that have been raised that you were close to the company and have performed services for the company? You'd be happy to assist in that investigation?
Oh, absolutely, because I'm an aggrieved shareholder like Lorraine.
Katy Gallagher, what can the government do here? Is this something you're going to be looking into?
Well, Lorraine, firstly, I'm really sorry to hear about your experience. When I had the Shadow Financial Services portfolio a few years ago in the lead up to the Banking Royal Commission, I'd heard stories like yours where significant amounts of money had been invested in what turned out to be dodgy arrangements where, you know, everyday Australians and their hard-earned money got lost, and they, you know, pretty much many lost everything. So I'm really, really sorry to hear about it. I hear from, I think, your remarks that you have made a complaint to ASIC. Then ASIC should, I hope, be able to respond to you. I know that the Assistant Treasurer has also sought briefings on this as well, and so the government is having a look at it. But ultimately, I think in the first instance, the regulator that you have complained to should be able to respond to you in some way to let you know what's happening.
Lorraine, I hope some of those answers have satisfied you or answered your questions. Good luck as well for the future as well with trying to recoup what you say you've lost here. Thank you, Lorraine.